Alright, so first off, we see the US of A banning out Necro. And we see Drunken Sea Monkeys banning out the Venomancer. So I didn't actually point out who we're playing. Today we've got the Drunken Sea Monkeys versus US of A. I like that name. And after that, of course, we have the next set of bands, Invoker and Spirit Breaker. So, general bans, of course, Necrolite, nobody likes to play against him, or Necrophos. Nobody likes to play against him because he's just generally annoying hero, and in this patch, he's really good. Spirit Breakers, for the obvious reasons that not only does he win his own lane, but he also wins every other lane, because he can just dive anyone he wants. So, that's a pretty good ban. I mean, it's pretty standard bans. Couple other bans that we might have seen, I don't know, probably, Earthshaker, Lich, but honestly, I think Drunken Sea Monkeys is probably going to pick up a Lich first. That's a pretty big, but yeah, so they picked their Lich and probably a, so Sven, okay, so Sven, for people who don't know, is actually Dark in his signature here. I think that's how he got to 5K, so pretty good picks here. I'm hoping to see some other stuff. Interested to see how they play this Kunkka on US of A. Kunkka's really good. I see him a lot being played as a 4, but he is, of course, being played a lot as a mid. Not as much as a carry anymore, but a mid is... people play him as like the splashy crit mid. So, pretty interesting. Probably our offlaner. You don't really see Nature's Prophet in the jungle as much anymore. Especially because you can basically just push off the offlane. Only bad thing is if it is in the offlane, this Sven is just going to cleave down his treants, and it's going to be really fun for Sven, especially when he gets a bunch of gold. Lycan, pretty interesting. They seems like Drunken Sea Monkeys doesn't really want the split push to be any more powerful, so we might actually see maybe a Tinker ban or some other good split pushing heroes like a Shadow Shaman. Earthshaker being banned out. Really good for... Earthshaker's really good at stunning. He's got almost all of his abilities revolve around stunning people. I think his passive gives a stun to one of his other abilities, so that's 3 stuns on one hero. It's pretty good. Playing this out, I don't know. Looking at... honestly, I still like the Tinker ban. I still like the Shadow Shaman ban. Just more split push that you don't want to deal with. Visage probably isn't going to be as big a deal, but he's a really good at split pusher as well. Sniper. So, doesn't look like anybody wants to deal with the Sniper. And immediately we see Omni Knight being banned out as well. So, Omni Knight's good because it basically keeps everybody alive. He's one of those supports that can be played really aggressively, and it's really hard to deal with him.
You really gotta pick a hero. You got 10
so
left.
I'm assuming Kunkka is going to be a mid for US of A. So Drunken Sea Monkey's going to have to pick up someone who's good against Kunkka. I don't know. Quap's okay. It's not as good because of the Kunkka's slow, or Kunkka's X mark. So Kunkka could just bring you back once you blink. That's no fun. So, honestly, you might not want to get someone who relies that much on mobility. Someone that's just generally pretty good at him. Someone who can harass him out. I like Quap still, because he's generally annoying. And usually you blink in to do annoying things.
Come on, Tired Team. Pick it good.
Underlord. Okay. So we're going to get an Underlord in the off lane on Drunken Sea Monkeys. That is Dead Penguins. Dead Penguins, hero, I believe. And an AA. So I like the AA. AA really... I mean, AA is just really annoying, so I wouldn't be surprised if we caught up someone that's really good at holding on to people. Maybe picking up a... US of A might be picking up like a...
10 seconds to pick your hero.
Faceless, maybe? Pretty good. Faceless or like an Enigma. I don't think Enigma. They need like a carry role. Unless this Kunkka's, of course, in the 4 role. Which, like I said before, I see a lot of Kunkka in the 4 roles, so by a lot, I mean this one player, Yak, he plays position 4 Kunkka all the time, so I might be a little biased there. But I mean, AA also, of course, shuts down a couple other heroes. None of the heroes really on this team. I mean, it does stop healing regardless, so that's unfortunate, but it basically stops you from picking up like a Huskar, stops you from picking up an Alchemist. So basically a good build if you just don't, or good hero just if you don't want anybody else to be picked up, like certain heroes to be picked up. We still need a mid on Drunken Sea Monkeys. And we also need a second support, so a roaming support. Lich is okay, but he's not the best roaming. I think Ember, yeah, so Ember Spirit's actually going to be your mid. Ember does pretty well against Kunkka if Kunkka does decide to be mid, but it's the same kind of thought process that if you get X back after you throw your Ember out, your Remnant out, you come right back. But it does also help you when you... okay, so Ember Spirit has this thing. His third ability is a Fire Remnant, where he can throw his own body in like fire form somewhere else. And then he uses another ability, which is the second part of this ability, to jump to that Remnant. It deals damage. It just basically lets you run away. So it's a good initiating ability, and it's also a really good escape mechanism. So the only problem with that is the escape mechanism's a lot less good against Kunkka, because Kunkka can just bring you back. That's what his third ability, X marks the spot, does. He X marks the spot to you, and then he immediately brings you back. And here's the Faceless Void. So yeah, so it looks like US of A is actually going to pair off the AA and the Kunkka with this Faceless Void. So honestly, you'd want the Kunkka to be a little bit more fed, so I'm assuming this is going to be a mid Kunkka. Carry, Faceless, offlane Natures, AA support, and we're probably going to see a Roamer next. Man, you actually don't really need a Roamer this team. I mean, it's always good to have a Roamer, but you don't particularly need the Roamer this team. So, I don't know. You could always, again, you could switch Kunkka out with a mid or a support. So, we might either... It does actually look like Drunken Sea Monkeys assumes that there's a support. Actually, they assume Nature's going into the jungle, and they assume they need a carry because they think Faceless is going offlane, and they think Kunkka is going in mid. So, I actually don't think I don't think that was the best ban. I honestly think that they're gonna get a roamer. So, I'm not actually sure what the best roamer would be. I actually wouldn't mind seeing a... Brian does suck. I actually wouldn't mind seeing like a Dragon Knight. So this is a... I think that's just... Honestly, in the perfect world, I would say this would be a 4 Kunkka, offlane Natures, 5 AA, safe lane carry, Void, and mid Dragon Knight.
5 seconds, Morty.
But I think what they're going to do is throw Dragon Knight mid, put Kunkka in the mid lane, put Faceless in the off lane, put Natures in the jungle, and then put AA in the 5 position. So it's a little, I think that's a little greedy of the US of, the US of A. I think they could have played that a lot better. But here's our other support. That's our, I think that support works out really well, especially with the Faceless ult. You'll be able to hit Faceless or any of the other heroes that go into Faceless ult. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how that plays out. While we're looking at it, we have Drunken Sea Monkeys. We have Rain on Lich, Dark Inn on Sven, Dead Penguin on Underlord, Bartimus on the Ember Spirit, and we have Good Name on the Witch Doctor. And on the side of US of A, we have Nox, well, I'm just calling him Nox on Kunkka, Apocalypse on Nature's Prophet, Dean Portman on Ancient Apparition, Axios on Faceless Void, and Fulton Reed on Dragon Knight. So, pretty interesting game. We're going to see how this goes out. Like I said at the beginning, I kind of like, I really like, for this game, I actually really like the US of A's team a little bit better, I think. Just going for kind of who is going to get what, but we'll see. I definitely think that the US of A has a lot more greedy of a team, but we'll see. And actually, I was right. Actually, at the very beginning, I think this is a 4 Kunkka and the mid Dragonite offlane natures. That's actually really cool. I'm really glad that I managed to grab that one. I don't actually think that that Drunken Sea Monkeys thought that, though. They definitely thought this was a mid Kunkka. Brought some good items, though. Looking at items, pretty standard items. We do see the Poor Man's Shield on Axius going under the safe lane, plus some tangos. Pretty general build from him. Really, really basic build for this Ember Spirit as well. Going basically is just Quelling Shield, Quelling Blade, Shield, 2 tangos. He's gonna go get a Poor Man's Shield pretty quick. Ping, 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 ping. Ping, 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 ping. So now everyone's just gonna wait off for these, for the runes, and going into our lanes. Lane priority, actually, I think that the Underlord's gonna have kind of a rough time, just because of the Kunkka and the AA. I think this is just going to end up being a really farm-heavy lane mid. I don't actually think that either person's going to get a kill, especially because Dragonite has his 3rd ability, Dragon Blood, his passive, which makes him incredibly hard to kill. So it's going to be really rough there. I do think that there needs to be a little bit more aggression here, probably taking, honestly, so this actually might, this is going to be a stunned up mid. He's going to get harassed. I don't think he's going to die. A little bit too early of a jump there by Axius, but he is going to manage to harass Dead Penguin out. Good torrent there. That was a really good way to initiate that fight here by Nox. Good follow-up there by Dean Portman as well. So, same going bottom. I actually do think that this Nature's Prophet's going to have a really rough time, especially with 2 heroes here, because he is especially going to be denied farm by Rain. And while that's happening, Dark Inn is going to be basically accelerated just because of the extra amount of creeps, especially if he doesn't, especially if Apocalypse doesn't macro his creeps really well. But he is doing a pretty good job with that. We are going to see our first attempted gank of the game, which is going to be Kunkka here, going in on Bartimus. He isn't going to land. Yeah, he does actually land it, but there is no stun, so there's no real follow-up for it. Just going to sit here and kind of harass out Bartimus, which is good. You don't really want your Ember to get fed early, so it's pretty good there. Good attempt going in there, just annoying him. I mean, especially here, as of right now, Fulton is basically, it's pretty far ahead, and I mean, not pretty far, but he's got 2 more last hits and a deny over the 9 on Bartimus. And even with that, we actually might have Apocalypse might be going down, but he does juke through the trees. He is going to be able to TP out, and he does. He managed to just quite TP out. There wasn't quite the stun. Not enough mana on Dark Inn, and there wasn't enough mana for the Kunkka or the Witch Doctor Coconut on Good Name. So that's unfortunate. Unfortunate there. That could have been a first blood. Would have been pretty good, but he Apocalypse does manage to get out, which is really good for him. Yeah, everyone's. I mean, I don't really see mid going down. I think it's going to be a pretty farm-heavy trade. I think the lane that's going to have more of a kind of death toll would be... Honestly, I think Dead Penguin's going to be the first one to die, only because of what lane he's in. I mean, this is going to be a really rough lane for this Natures if he doesn't watch out. Well, okay. So let me say that differently. I don't actually think that... And by looking at that, it looks like Rain's actually going to be the first one to go down. So... good first blood there, going to Apocalypse. They managed to get the... So Kunkka, being super good support, managed to land off his X and his Torrent, which is a really good combo. Right before that, the only reason I thought the Dead Penguin was going to be the first one to go down would have only mattered if Kunkka on Nox would have been top, because they would have been able to hold down this this Underlord, and it would have been really rough for him to basically play on it. So, but other than that, really good run on getting that first blood. Kunkka's a really good support, like we were saying earlier. He has 2 different ways to grab somebody. He has his X and he has his Torrent. Those are really good stunts, especially when you stack them on other people's. Last hit wise, so mid is doing this. I mean, Fulton Reed, he's just pushing out the lane, and he very well can. He opted to go straight for a Soul Ring. Pretty good item there. Usually you either get a Soul Ring or a bottle, but because you have Dragon Blood, which just gives you armor and healing, it's pretty good. Bartimus actually needs to watch out, considering there is 3 people here in the mid lane, especially because he just stunned him up, and he is actually probably going to go down if I had to guess. And there's actually 4 in the mid lane now, and he is going to have to run away, but it's not likely he's going to get away. He does have his shackles if you can throw him up, and he does actually manage to run off. There is going to be a jump in from the Lich. I don't actually think he can do anything. He can't quite stop Dean Portman from jumping out, especially because Lich's first ability is not a stun anymore. It doesn't disrupt, at least. So, it was a good attempt there by the US of A to stop that, but they did just commit 4 heroes to the mid lane. And while at the same time, Drunken is just farming up bottom, he caught up to Fultan in terms of last hits. He's almost caught up to him in terms of net worth. So he is around 22, while Drunken is at 24. There is only that 1 kill so far in the game, going towards the US of A. So I don't think we actually see Apocalypse go down. He can just TP away. There isn't a stun. So that's one of the only problems. And now while this happens, I think Rain actually is going to go down. He is going to get stunned up. Landed the Torrent, landed the Icy Foot, and he's just going to go down to Dean Portman, who is going to look into going into Dark Rain. He actually probably is going to go down as well. We have one more hit, and there is going to be an X marks up pretty soon. A little bit of a... Yeah, so there was an X mark and a Torrent up on Nox. Oh, Nox just grabbing that last hit. If you looked how fast Nox and Dean Portman managed to knock down, that's that Chilling Touch for you. Chilling Touch adds extra damage on hits, and it does slow your attack, but as you can see on the low amount of armor that comes up already, there was just so much damage the output there. So Sven basically just melted in. I mean, he does have 6 armor at the moment, so it isn't it's not like he doesn't have a lot of armor, but say they would have gone on Good Name. Good Name here has 2 armor, so he would have melted even faster than Dark would have. So really good attempt there. Good Torrent to make Drunken kind of maneuver back towards him. There wasn't really anywhere else that he could go. Nox kind of played him right into him. So we do have kind of a pause here. It looks like one of the players, Dead Penguin, has a really low ping, or really high ping. Sorry, it's at 1,000. So use this time, kind of look at some items. We've got basically the same items as before. We do have the power treads finished on Drunken here. We've got a bottle on Bartimus, who is tied level-wise with the Faceless Void and the Dragon Knight. So Fulton and Faceless doing a really good job at getting their levels. Let's see. We also have, surprisingly, the Faceless has pretty much also been free farming, so he is up there with the carry, with Drunken, and with Fulton. So pretty interested to see what he's going for. I wouldn't be surprised if he was going straight for either a Daedalus, if he was going straight for a Radiance or a Diffusal Blade. Those aren't bad items on Faceless. Usually on a carry, you want to go more into the Mjolnir for attack speed. Getting a Daedalus, of course, is really good. So pretty interested to see what he gets there. Ember Spirit does have a bottled haste. He's going to go for the Ring of Aquila build first. So the stat-based build. It'd be interesting to see if he goes for Spell Amp or right click. So I'm gonna talk about Ember Spirit here for a minute. So Ember Spirit's a really good hero, and the last couple patches he's been nerfed a little bit, but he did get buffed quite a bit. So he went from a strictly right click Sleight of Fist carry, which Sleight of Fist is his second ability, which allows you to basically you jump to every single hero and you hit them in a radius, which is it gets bigger with the amount of levels. So it also does extra damage based on if you hit a hero. So in general you'll see Ember Spirit kind of jump around. This is the reason why he did the right click carry build for a long time. In these recent patches, he got these in the talent trees. He got things like 30 damage and 8% spell amp. Well, 8% spell amp is a lot considering that his level 3 ability Flame Guard does it's like 16 damage at 50. So it's 16 seconds at 50 damage a second. So that right there is just an obnoxious amount. That's already over 500 damage. That's 530 damage right there just for being around Ember Spirit, and that's everybody within the vicinity. And that's at level 3. So at level 4 it does 60, and that is 20 seconds at 60. So that's math. I don't want to do 100. I don't know. More math than I want to do. I have to do it, but anyway, so 1200. So I did think 1200, but 1200 was a lot to me. But yeah, he does 1200 damage just by being around this Ember, and that's if you just stay in it this entire time. So if you just stay in the damage per second, and he gets the full 20 seconds off. If you're around Ember Spirit, he gets 1200 damage off him. 1200 magic damage. So you do 8% on top of that. So that is an excessive amount. So that'll basically give this Ember that right there gave this Ember a lot of perks. Like it kind of led him into getting things like Veil of Discord, which adds on another bit of magic percentage damage. I want to say it's like another 8%. It's actually it's yeah, okay, so it just decreases resistance by 25%. So that's another bit. So you're doing an excessive amount of damage on top of this with this Ember Spirit, especially because also his Searing Change does another 2 seconds of 60 damage per second. So it's pretty good. That actually looks like a glitch though, where it says it starts at 80 and goes down to 60. So that's an interesting. I don't think that's true, but that's interesting. But looking at it, I mean, especially because the Ember would get things like lightnings, and he would get, or he does get now, more things that help with hybrid builds. So since they nerfed it a little bit, the Ember went from, like, it used to be 15%, I think, magic damage extra. So it went from that to going to 8, so you can do more of a hybrid build now. Usually, it used to pick between magic or right click. Now you kind of pick like a hybrid build where you do like, you kind of go into a Radiance or like something like those lines. You get Maelstrom, and then you get more right click, and you get magic and right click, and it's pretty good. It's pretty interesting. I'm excited to see how Ember picks it up. So I don't know if y'all could tell, I have to go on this kind of weird rant because they paused. There is hopefully gonna be a not pause. So looking at other items, let's go into Dragon Knight. I mean, Dragon Knight already, he's probably going for a, I mean, honestly, probably going for a Hand of Midas. A Hand of Midas basically just allows you to eat a creep, an enemy creep, and gives you gold and money for it. So I mean, that's pretty good. It also gives you attack speed, so it also gives you extra experience. So that'll be pretty good. Looking to see what kind of build he goes, usually you go like Maelstrom, Assault Cuirass, like tanky, hit fast, because his ultimate is called Elder Dragon form, which basically turns him into a dragon, gives him these different perks. Like first level, he gets Corrosive Breath, which basically every time he attacks, whoever he attacks gets 20 damage, poison damage done to him per second for 5 seconds. That works on towers, so it makes Dragon Knight really good at pushing towers. Level 2, he gets splash attacks, so all of his attacks deal splash damage with the Corrosive Breath. So he still gets his Corrosive Breath from level 1, but he also gets a splash damage on top of that, which means that he hits anybody within a vicinity. Third level, he gets the splash attack, the corrosive level, plus he slows movement speed for 30%, so it's pretty good. I mean, all of that also works on towers, so it's really good. Underlord, going for the mana boots next, pretty good. Underlord has his abilities are like Firestorm. He basically just throws down a fire pit that like shoots down and hurts. It's another overtime ability, which is pretty good. Pit of Malice basically is a root. It kind of holds you in place in a circle. If you walk into it, you get held down for a good bit of time. Atrophior, probably the best point of Underlord, makes him really good for pushing. Underlord, basically, he goes through, and every time something dies around him, like being at a creep or a hero, he gets bonus damage. So he'll get 5 extra bonus damage per creep dying around him, up to around 205 extra damage, I believe. So, and it stays there for like 40 seconds. So he gets 35 for as of right now for heroes, and the damage reduction, he also does damage reduction on the people around him. So it's really good. It's also really good against towers because you can rack up like 200 something damage from clearing a wave and then pushing in a tower. So it's pretty good. And his ultimate Dark Rift basically just it basically grabs everybody on your team within the vicinity, and it's teleports all of them to a location. So you can teleport to creeps, you can teleport to base, you can teleport to fountain or to towers and things like that. So it's pretty good. Basically, you can bring your entire team to another location on the map, which is really good for like turning team fights, for starting team fights, for initiating. You can get it if there's a creep next to one person, you can have every single one of your person on your team teleport to that creep. So it's pretty good. Faceless Void, I don't have enough information to know what he's going for. I want to say he's probably either going to go for a Hand of Midas or a Radiance. So the Hand of Midas, like I went over earlier, basically just lets you eat creeps and gives you money, and experience. It's really a late game item, so if you expect to tape the game post 40 minutes, so it's one of those items. Radiance being one of the items that it basically gives you 60 damage, plus it basically just burns everyone around you for just if you're alive around anyone who has a Radiance, it burns for 65. Yeah. So no, it's 65 damage and burns for 60 around you, and there's a 17% miss chance. 700 not meters, but 700 radius around the hero. If you're alive there, you get hurt. So pretty good item. Pretty interesting to see how that goes. I guess I can keep talking about just the heroes. There's not really much more to go over, but so there's things like AA has abilities like Ice Blast, which is level 5. It basically is a huge rate. Well, depending on how far away the hero is, the Ice Blast is farther. So if AA, it's a global ability, you can shoot it anywhere on the map, and as the farther away you stop the ability to go off from the hero, from AA, it gets larger. So pretty good there. Pretty interesting. So, pretty interesting to see. I don't actually know if Dragon Knight goes down here. I don't think he does. Pretty good decision there by Bartimus to back off and just go back to farming. Especially because you don't know where some of the other heroes are. You definitely don't want to just go out and die. Especially because now there's actually 3 around. Kunkka's here, and so is everyone. Actually, look, I think this Artemis actually goes down. I don't think there's any way he lives. He does have a haste rune. I don't actually know if the... He does actually live through it. Good job there with the toggling and the haste rune. He definitely wouldn't have gotten away if he didn't have a haste. So, good little run there. Good thing he had that bottled up. As we can see about the Atrophy Aura, he does have 15 extra damage here on this Underlord every time a creep dies. So we're going to see these creeps dies, and his Atrophy Aura is going to go up. It goes up to 30, goes up to 40. So 45 extra damage on him. It does actually look like Ember Spirit is going to get attacked. He is going to get frozen up. They can't quite dive him because there are 2 locations goes on. So good bit right there. And it does actually look like Ember Spirit is going to manage to get here, get this 2 of these guys. He should back out here. I don't think he fights this Dragon Knight, especially because the Kunkka's near him. I don't actually think they can get him, especially because Shrine is up. And because of that, this Bartimus actually is going to get gone on here by Apocalypse. But Apocalypse, they can't quite grab him, especially because... Ember Spirit does have this casual Quelling Blade. So one of the items, or one of the abilities on Apocalypse on this Nature Spirit is he has Sprout, which is basically this ability that lets him put trees around a hero or around a certain circle. And that's really good for holding on to people and making sure they can't get away. Well, one of the really good abilities for that is that Sprout allows... one of the good counters to Sprout is that if you get a Quelling Blade, it allows you to cut trees. So that's, I think, a really good item to have just casually for everyone. So if Underlord might get caught out by Sprout, he wouldn't be able to get away because he'd have no way of cutting down the trees. Same goes for the other people on the other teams. I mean, of course, there's other ways. Like Lena Stun can do it. Like anything that cuts down trees, you can use to get out of Sprout. But otherwise, it is a really good ability. To keep people around, of course, with this, like different things like blinks and escapes, you can get out of Sprout, but it all depends on how you use them. So there is a smoke. So yeah, so smoke was popped on Kunkka. It does actually look like Ember Spirit is probably going to go down if I had to guess. He is surrounded. He does have his escape, and he is going to manage to run away. There is a little bit of tick damage, but it doesn't actually look like it's enough to take him down. So... that right there, showing the Ember Spirit is one of the hardest heroes if you can't silence him to kill. It is going to be really interesting to see how they deal with that. I could actually see some Orchids being brought out, which allows you to silence the hero, or stuns. So if you can stack stuns well enough, it does work. All on these lines, I actually think that... so there are a lot of heroes being committed to the mid lane to attempt to kill this Ember Spirit. But with that said, Axius is just sitting up here farming. He does opt to get a... I think... don't actually know what that build, those 2 things. I don't think they build into anything, just them 2. But I can see. So... no, a Mask of Madness maybe? I don't... yeah, okay. So yeah, okay, he is building a Mask of Madness. Alright. I didn't realize that they changed the Mask of Madness and got rid of the recipe. So he is opting to build the Mask of Madness. It's a really good item. I don't think I didn't touch on that earlier, but it's a pretty good item. It basically gives you attack speed, and while you're in Chronosphere, you can really just wail on whoever you're going to hit. So that's pretty good. But while I was saying, like, while all this is happening, the carries have just been escalated. Like, Dark Inn is just free farming down bottom. There are 4 heroes looking like they're going to go for... they actually are going to go for Dark Inn because they did smoke. There is a Void ult up. There is not quite... they don't quite have the Ice Blast, but they are going to attempt to go here. Smoke is popped, and it does look like there is a blink. And Drunken does get caught out. He is going to get chronoed right on the edge of chrono, and Drunken is going to go down. That is also his God Strength melted. So that is 74 seconds God Strength used for nothing. Good little rotation. Good smoke kill there. Giving Axius the kill. So Axius getting that kill there is big. It does allow him to jump up and be with the other carry. And even now, I mean, they're just going to go ahead and catch another one out. That's a 2-for-nothing trade. I mean, you are kind of getting annoyed here by the Witch Doctor and the by Dead Penguin and Good Name, but unfortunately they aren't going to be able to do anything, and that's a 2-for-none trade. It does actually look like there isn't another Remnant up on Ember, but that isn't gonna matter. I don't actually think that Sven can do anything against the tankiness of this Dragon Knight, so that is just gonna stay a 2-for-none trade. Plus tower goes down, so honestly, if you look at it, it does actually look like there's about 1,000 gold lead in the terms of in favor of US of A. Still about 1,000 experience gain in terms of Drunken Sea Monkeys, so pretty cool there. Gonna be pretty interesting to see what happens. I mean, honestly, this is kind of ballsy. I don't think you can actually kill the Ember Spirit, but you're leaving everybody kind of just free farm. I mean, they sent Fulton top. Fulton already got mid tower, so he is just gonna go top and free farm. Of course, you are leaving your Sven bottom, and Sven's one of the harder carries in the game. He is opting to get his hit stick. I can't remember what it's called. Echo Saber. Yeah, Echo Saber. So he's gonna opt to get his Echo Saber. So it'll be pretty good there. Once he gets that Echo Saber, he's just gonna melt whoever he gets. But there are 2 really good alts for Drunken Sea Monkeys to throw into the Void alt, so it's not like Void alts can be the end of everything, especially if they stay kind of clumped up around a hero. We have Lich alt, which is the Chain Frost, which is really good. It kind of bounces around from hero to hero on the opposite team, so that'll be a really good alt, especially. And Death Ward, which is the Witch Doctor alt, which basically just physical damage hits anybody on the opposite team. Dead Portman's actually here alone. If he gets spotted out, this is going to be really rough for him. I don't actually think he will. He's pretty safe for now, especially because they have Nox coming out, and they actually might opt to initiate here on Dark Inn. I don't think they do. I think they would die, and they back up, which is a good call. They do need to try killing this Dark Inn a little bit more, especially because he is top of the net worth still. He does have 100 last hits at 14 minutes, so he is farming especially well. There are some fights here happening, nothing too big, especially because there was an Invis rune here on Rain, so he should be fine. So pretty good little stack right here. So looking at item-wise, item progression, there is a Blink Dagger here on Darken. Pretty good item, especially to have pre-15 minutes. That's definitely great initiation. It makes it a little rough to run away from the X marks the spot, but still pretty good. Good initiation, so if you're going to use it to get in instead of get out, it's really helpful. Going for... Oh, okay, so we actually are going to have a kid. And there's that alt we were talking about earlier from Dragon Frost. He is going to go on, and we are going to see Futan. So we are going to see 2 people go down. We're going to see Fulton actually going to be kind of run away. He's really difficult to kill. I actually don't think he gets down. But we do see Dean... I don't know his name. Dean Portman, and we are also going to see Nox go down. So good jump right there, especially showing the Blink Dagger in action. We have... So we have Dark Inn being able to blink in and just melt away people, and good ult there by Rain, good ult by Good Name, showing them exactly what they could do. Those ults are down now, and now they are kind of diving under tier 2 or tier 1, and here comes that AA ult, the Ice Blast. Doesn't manage to get anyone but him, but it does look like Bartimus is in a really dangerous spot. He could very well go down, but good turn right there by Dark Inn, opting to stun so it doesn't happen. Plus, really good Underlord ult, Dead Penguin managing to throw off his mech. We are going to see... Oh, not quite going to go down in the background, but we are going to keep seeing this fight. And it does look like Nox and Fulton are just going to manage to be fine. They are going to opt to go for this Underlord. And does it look like... Oh, okay, so we do see Nox finally going down by the Lich stun or Lich Frost Blast. So pretty weird little encounter there. I don't think anybody died on the side of Drunken Sea Monkeys. And we are going to see them going in here on this Dragon Knight. So Dragon Knight's really tanky. Honestly, I would love to see them keep diving. I think they keep diving after him, especially because he is going to go down if they can hit him a couple more times. And he does manage to go down. Rain does take him down with his Ice Blast. And they do pop God's Strength for that. And they are very likely going to get this kill, especially because God's Strength gives like 100-something extra damage on Sven. So Sven hits for 200. Dead Penguin hits for about almost 200. So good fight right there. Dead Penguin really tanky, not really scared of anything. He is scared of an AA ult, but I don't think it's high enough level to take him down. If he does get hit, he might go down, though. So he is actually very likely going to die. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, so he does manage to heal up a little bit, and he does have the... Oh, so he does have the aura from the base, so he does manage to get out. So good TP there by him. Good pullback also. Looks like Chain Frost was expended top. They don't quite get anybody, but good try there. Not on too long a cooldown, so you don't really care about expending it too much.
That's exact.
We don't quite see anything. We are gonna see him bringing him up here. So Dead Penguin does bring Good Name up here, and now it's going to be Axius Fulton and Dean Portman going against Dead Penguin, Bartimus, and Good Name. We're going to see how this little 3-on-3, and they don't know that Rain's right behind them, so they do, of course, know that Good Name is here, and it does look like there's 5 up here. Darkin does manage to run up here. So this is very likely just going to be a dead tower, especially because Underlord hits so hard and he can just melt through towers. But they are going to contest this. It does look like they do realize that Nox is here. There is an ult, so ult into AA ult. It does look like Rain is just going to melt through, and so is Dead Penguin. Dead Penguin's 100% going to go down here. It does look like Axius is going to manage to get away. They don't actually have Rain, so I actually think that Bartimus actually dies as well. He doesn't have a Remnant out, and he does go down. I think the second that they realized that Dark was not with them, they should have backed out there, especially because they were fighting under a tier 1. I mean, the tower might not do a lot of damage, but it does definitely do a good bit of damage. And with that, we see the gold, or the net worth jumping back down, and it's still in favor of DSM, but it's going towards the US of A. Going into it as well, we also have net worth lead. The net worth lead is actually in favor of DSM by about almost 2,000, or a little bit more than 2,000. So, net worth wise, though, Dark is doing a really good job at staying ahead. He's about 2,000 ahead of the next person on the other team. He's a little more than 2,000 ahead of the next carry, which was the other carry, which was Axius and Fulton, who is their mid. So doing a really good job there. Definitely doing a good job just blatantly farming. That's his job. He needs to be able to take everyone on by himself in the late game. So, pretty interesting to see. Going back to playing the farming game. Doing pretty excited for that. Yeah, going back to the farming game, basically. Yeah, that's basically what you want to do. We do have the Chrysalis and the Echo Saber finished up on Dark, so good item to see on him. I mean, that's going to basically make him able to just melt through people. Other than that, we have a mech, which he did have earlier on Dead Penguin. He's going to be getting a GG Boots here pretty soon, which basically just combines the Mana Boots and the mech. Mech just heals up. Mana Boots just give mana. It does look like Bartimus is actually going to opt to go for the right-click damage build, stats and the right-click damage, because he is going to be building a I don't know why I spaced on the item.
Time flies.
Battle Fury. I don't know why I spaced on that item. So he's gonna opt to buy a Battle Fury. I mean, it's pretty good. I don't know if it's the best against this team, but you definitely don't want to use your Fire Remnants to jump into the fight. So I can see why. I mean, actually, I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna get pulled back, you might as well just use them to jump into the fight, because if you can kill a bunch of them initially, you don't have to worry about it. If we are actually gonna see. Actually, no one goes down yet. I thought Nox might be going down, but they do manage to turn on Bartimus, and Nox is just sitting here doing work. Nobody quite dies yet. They are really low. Honestly, I think that Drunken Sea Monkeys needs to opt to just get out, and they do. They just back out of that fight, so... I mean, it's pretty good for them to be able to just run away. That wasn't the best placement for their fights, especially because now they still have Apocalypse farming, pushing in. It does look like Dark did manage to find him. He isn't going to be able to take him out yet. He does just TP away. But with that, he is just going to farm like crazy, like we were talking about at the beginning, where he just melts through all these creeps. So, good little trade-off for them. He does, of course, have almost 10k net worth, so it's really good there. We are also going to see the Orchid getting picked up here on Apocalypse. That was the item that's basically going to be really worrisome for Bartimus. If you stun him, he's just basically gonna go down. Other than that, like we said there, Daedalus is probably gonna get finished up on Dark here pretty soon. Battle Fury gonna be picked up on Bartimus. I would like to maybe see a Mantis style, probably a Mantis style, honestly. Usually whenever you have this kind of thing, you want to see the Mantis style or the Lincoln Sphere getting picked up. Those things are basically, you can just purge off the silence, which lets you do your abilities. I kind of so it was actually Fulton actually opted to go for the blink first before he goes for his armlet. Pretty interesting decision there. I mean, he only died I think one time. Yeah, so he's only died once, so he doesn't really need to worry about the running away bit. So I mean, not a lot of deaths in this game, honestly, considering it's 23 minutes and there's a lot of it's really aggressive. I mean, there are 17 deaths, but the amount of team fighting that's happened, I'm surprised there aren't more. But there is the Hand of Midas being picked up on Apocalypse. Good item there. So pretty interesting to see. Does look like Apocalypse has opted to grab a Blightstone, which means he's going to be building into a Bloodthorn, which is just a... That actually doesn't build into a Bloodthorn, excuse me. Deso. So we are going to be pretty good there. Looking into it, it does actually look like Bartimus goes down. He went down top. Yeah, he went down top here to Apocalypse. And there is a big fight here going on mid, where we are actually going to see Lich go down. We are going to maybe see Fulton go down. So Fulton does die to the God Strength and the double damage. This is going to be really bad if Axius gets picked off, but I don't actually know. And he does actually get stunned and he insta-dies. I mean, Dark In just running through it. That is going to be a free tower. The only person up left is Apocalypse, and Dark and Dead Penguin is still up there. And especially because Dead Penguin has a Blade Mail. Really good item on him. Makes it really hard to hit and kill. Plus, Dark just managed to grab that tower. Going for his BKB next, which I actually really think is a good idea, especially because of the amount of hold. So, really, really glad to see that. It's a pretty even game still so far. I mean, it's almost the net worth difference is almost negligible, about less than 100. I want to say. It actually is. It's actually within 10 gold in the terms of either team. Experience-wise, is a little bit more in favor of DSM. They have around 7,500, so pretty good there. With that, of course, Dark In is just farming away. He has at 12k gold, so pretty good there. He's 2k higher than Apocalypse, who is the next highest person on the Dire team, so on US of A. It's a pretty interesting game so far. I'm actually really excited to see who wins it. It's pretty close. I mean, at the moment, it kind of seems... even though Dark In is managing to kind of pick up where Bartimus... And Bartimus isn't doing bad, but he hasn't been... I don't think he's been that... impactful, which isn't his fault. Ember Spirit is not a very impactful hero at the beginning. When you go the right-click build, you have to really get your Battle Fury. You have to get, which he isn't even finishing his Battle Fury. Well, he has it finished. He just hasn't brought it to him. So he is bringing it to him now. So he just finished his Battle Fury. He's getting his TP boots. So he isn't that impactful until he has his Battle Fury, honestly. So once he has this, he'll be able to flash farm. He'll be able to push out lanes. And it'll be really, really helpful for the team. So Dark being able to pick that slack up a little bit. So even with that, I like to say, I think that the term of ability to fight is kind of in the favor of US of A. Like, they have a lot more team fightiness, which is something that DSM really does need to worry about, especially because this Faceless is going for Lightnings. He does pick up an Echo Saber as well. He's going for the Daedalus, which is going to make him hit a lot faster and a lot harder. So that'll be interesting. That's his next progression. There is a blink up on Kunkka as well, which is going to let him basically grab out people whenever he wants. The Orchid's finished, so that's actually going to be interesting. I do think that Dart going for TP boots first, or second maybe, I guess, is a little greedy, especially because he does. I think he knows that Nature's has an Orchid. I think he should have maybe opted for, well, no, I mean, I guess not. I guess the natural progression for him would be get TP boots so he can farm faster, so I guess Bartimus doing that isn't bad, because once he does that, he'll be able to flash farm and get like his items really quickly. Not a good play there by Apocalypse. I don't think he was paying attention to his treants, because they did just kind of walk into Dead Penguin. He managed to firestorm him down. Bartimus actually having to run away. There's a lot of catch here. I don't think he's gonna get caught. He does manage to just run away. That's a lot committed here, bottom, but there is going to be a blink in, or bring in, so we do bring in everybody here. And they are on the run. This is the best time right now. If DSM can manage to catch Axius out, this is definitely what they want. He is going to run away pretty quickly, so I don't actually think they commit. But honestly, I actually think Good Name here is actually way out of position. Even if Dark's close, you are running uphill into... I mean, even if you're going to ward, like, that was really dangerous. They could have had 3 heroes just sitting up on top of the hill, and you wouldn't have even known.
Holy crap, Rick, he's unstoppable.
Apocalypse actually goes down immediately, getting melted here to Sven, who has that. Of course, he does have that Echo Saber and the Chrysalis, which he's actually opting to get a Bloodthorn. I actually really like this. Bloodthorn's going to be basically give him almost the same amount. It does give him around the same amount of damage. Plus, he has the same amount of crit, but he has True Strike on anyone he silences. Plus, it gives a silence. So, really like the choice of item here on Dark. I think that's a really, really good pickup. It'll basically, that definitely help when he wants to kill Apocalypse, because Apocalypse just basically relies on not getting silenced and stunned to do things. We're not almost done here on Maelstrom. He doesn't have that much to go. I mean, he basically has his Mithril Hammer. He has his Gloves of Haste. Probably another 1,000. I think it's another 1,000, and he's got it. So, next kind of progression for them. It looks like DSM is going to try to go for Roche, I think. They do ping it out. It's a not... honestly, DSM has the worst... Not the worst team for taking Roche. The worst... They're going against the worst team for taking Roche because of the... Because we have Void Alt, we have Torrent, we have Ghost Boat, we have all these things that can make... basically taking Roche really hard, and that's not something you really want to deal with. Wouldn't mind seeing a smoke here pretty soon. We do have a smoke on Lich. Smoking going on Apocalypse or going on Axius again would be really good. These are really big kills. Especially because Apocalypse is the highest net worth on the Dire team. So killing him a couple more times limits out the split push a lot. Especially whenever Bartimus, he does have his TP boots, which means he's going to be able to split push a great deal. There is a smoke here on DSM, looking to see if they can catch out someone. They do see Apocalypse, who is just going to TP out, but they do manage to see him. Does he just TP out? Yeah, he does. He gets over there and he just TP out. They don't quite see Doesn't actually look like they see Axius, but if they do manage to wrap around him, they are going to see Axius here. And honestly, if you could just grab Axius, they just walked away from him. Axius is right here. Well, I don't... Okay. We are actually going to see this, and Axius just melts there. Oh, he does. Does he do it? And not quite. Actually, Axius, I think, needed to run away there. He did catch all 4 of them. And actually looks like Fulton is actually going to go down here as well. Not quite. There is a blink up. He does get canceled by Dean Portman. Dean Portman, really good blink cancellation right there, because if he wouldn't have done that, he definitely would have gotten... Fulton definitely would have gotten killed. Pretty interesting thing. He does manage... so Dark doing an interesting job to turn. I actually think he's not going to quite die for that, but good, interesting. He turned to stun, managed to secure a kill, and he is. They are actually going to get Fulton here. Completely worth it. Death ward right there. They do need to TP back, and is he going to get this? Oh, we pull your... Okay, so you don't have a TP, pull your Quelling Blade. You need to actually pull your Quelling Blade into your inventory, I think. That would have managed... They would have managed to get Apocalypse right there. Maybe a little bit of a misplay. Dark does pull his Quelling Blade in after the fact, but if he would have had that, he would have switched it with his TP while he was TPing. He knew he was going in for Apocalypse, so he knew that Sprout was up. I think if he would have put it in there beforehand, I mean, of course, hindsight's a bitch. It's really difficult to just know that kind of thing, or to just instinctively do that kind of thing. So, no fault. I'm not faulting him, but if he would have done that, then he might have gotten the kill there. So, I mean, pretty good there. Apocalypse doing a really good job at split pushing. He did manage to take all the towers top, and he doesn't quite have chip damage on tier 3, but he did manage to get the tier 2 as well. So, I think, honestly, DSM needs to be aggressive here and just kind of take this tower. I don't think there's anything you can do about it. They do see Apocalypse up top, and honestly, I think Dark needs to back out and just... He is going to pop God Strength and just go in here and kill Nox. He does get caught right on the outside of this, and that is gonna... He is gonna go down. Great ult there here by Axius. There is gonna be probably gonna get 2, so we do get Dead Penguin. Dead Penguin does go down. It does actually look like they're probably gonna get Rain as well, and they're gonna get top tower. So that's gonna be a 3 for none trade, plus top tower is gonna go down. So that's top. Honestly, I think Rax can go down. Honestly, I think Apocalypse needs to just back out. There's way too much here. He does have that, but he does immediately go down. A little bit greedy there. You could have just backed up and kind of not worried about it. You had the Shadow Blade. I think you should have backed up. But hey, you did get Rax, or you get not Rax. You got Tower, which opens up Roche, which opens up the Shrines. Really limits the mobility of the other teams. So I think that was a really, really well played there by US of A. I do kind of think that Dark should have opted to TP back and take care of Apocalypse. I think that would have worked out better. Especially because he kind of jumped in. You got to be careful whenever Chrono's up. But this is basically free Roche now. I think you give it to Dragon Knight, but it does look like they're going to give it to the Faceless Void. So there's Roche down. That's a big objective right there for US of A. Now you can opt to go take any of the shrines, which does look like... I mean, who knows? We'll see. Especially because it does look like Drunken Sea Monkeys doesn't have any of their tier 2s. There's already a tower down. And also Apocalypse is just going to keep pushing in this top lane. He's going to try to go take those racks. He really wants them. So, I mean, that's a good choice. I think that's a really interesting choice there by him. There is the Bloodthorn finished up on Dark, so that'll be good. It does look like Bartimus is either opting to go for... he is going for the Lincoln Sphere, so that's a good item. I like Lincolns because it stops a bunch more things than being able to... And you don't have to actually purge them off. It just immediately stops them. But unfortunately, I think that there are a lot of things that stop or that pop Lincolns, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. X marks the spot, of course. Cold feet, stuns, all of that kind of stuff. Looking back on items, we do have Guardian Greaves, GG Boots, picked up on Dead Penguin. Good items. We have the Glimmer Cape on on Good Name. Looks like we have the Yules on Rain, who's also going for an Rod of Atos next. I like that. Other than that, we have great item. I didn't mention it before, but against Finn, a Halvin's Halberd, which is this item, this pretty item right here. It basically it disarms heroes so that they can't attack, and that's a beautiful item for Fulton to have. Other than that, we do have the Deso finished up here on Apocalypse, which is going to help him melt towers as well. Which, by the way, another tower goes down bottom for Team USA. So all around, I think these are really good items, really good progression, especially because of all the objectives that US of A has made sure they took after fights. That's definitely what you want. If you're gonna take fights, it does actually look like Apocalypse goes down here to spin to Dark up top. Great, that's exactly what you wanted. You definitely wanted him to go down because now the split push is worse, and you force US of A to back up. But US of A has a lot of wards here in the jungle, so they see exactly where DSM is.
I am renewed.
Looking at it, the net worth, again, net worth is still under 2K. It's about almost exactly 1K, actually. It's at 1K in favor of US of A. Still a little bit more than 10K, about 15K experience gain in terms of for DSM. So that's really good for him. Last hits, just 360 last hits on Dark, really good. 268 on Apocalypse, 245 on Brodium. I forgot his name. I shouldn't have. Bartimus. I don't know why I said Brodium. On Bartimus, 201 on Dead Penguin, and then so on Axios, and then Fulton, and then so on and so forth. Honestly, right now, all the alts are up on both teams, so I think that this is the point where they do want to take a fight. You do definitely want to take a fight if you are, which they are going to do. It does look like there is Aegis as well. Looks like Good Name's actually probably going to melt down Dark here, going in and trying to do something. He does get chronoed, and Dark is very likely to go down here. So Dark does get frozen up, and oh, are they going to save him? This would be the time. If they can manage to save. Dark does get saved by Bartimus and and they do get Fulton. They are going to opt here to go for Bartimus going in for Dean Portman. He is going to manage to get him. Yeah, he doesn't get frozen up. So he does manage to cleave down Dean Portman. Going for the Daedalus next on him. Really good items. Going to let his cleave do a lot more work. So right now, it was a 2-for-2 trade, but you got two. Basically, you got two carries or 2 core players for 2 support players. So this is not optimal. This isn't the best scenario if you're DSM, but it's one of the best. It's basically the best realistic scenario. So once you take a fight, you need to take an objective. Opting to go in here and take this mid tower is the best decision you can make. I think you can keep going. I think you chip tier 3. There's not much you can know. You do know that Void Ult is down. Plus, you hit really hard. Honestly, 5 seconds up until God Strength. I think you can just pop God Strength and you take this tower. Yeah, so he does. He actually pops God Strength and opts to go on Axiom. You can definitely take tower now. So the carry is down. You go in here. You just you hit towers. You can take racks. Yeah, so this is best play. I think Sven takes this racks. I think they back out, and they do. So they manage to grab the melee racks, and they just kind of leave. Honestly, I think Dead Penguin does go down for this, but trading your offlaner for a Rax is not a bad trade-off. So good going there. Good decision making by Dark right there to opt to get the tier 3 and get a Rax. That evens up. That actually puts the tower advantage. I mean, I want to say tower advantage is still in the favor of US of A just because they have all the outer towers they can choose to go bottom or top. Whereas DSM has to go get top tower and get bottom tower before they can go into base. And of course, US of A opts to get the shrines, which is a really good decision. Extra 300 gold in your pockets, which is definitely really good. So next, I'm not actually sure what the next line of progression on Dark is. He actually is opting to go for the Assault Cuirass, making him even tankier. Usually you see either an Assault Cuirass or a Heart, I think. So good for that. But this right here, that cleave on Bartimus, that's what you want to see. It's gonna be really hard to split push into this towers with the cleave like that. But of course, DSM can't quite leave the base at the moment either, especially because they do know, or they should know, that the Chronosphere is up. So something you really got to worry on. So they do back up. We do actually see, looks like Nox and Apocalypse are going to back up. Both teams pinging out to grab the shrines, because it does look like DSM is going to smoke, attempt to, they do see mid, so maybe they're going to try to go in here on Fulton, and they do actually, I think they see Fulton here. They know where he is. They are going to opt to go here on Fulton. I think Fulton's out of position. He is definitely way out of position. He does have a haste, though. They did grab the haste from him. He does actually go down too. Great follow-up by Bartimus, and great ult. I don't think it would have worked the same way if Rain wouldn't have thrown out that Chain Frost. And both Bartimus just basically just clearing out these waves. Dark is just kind of, I don't know if he's out of position. He is by himself, and they did know, so he needs to be a little careful there. Roche is up, so that would probably be for both teams. That's the next progression. You want to take Roche. You want to push up lanes. There is a DD there, and it does look like US of A did grab the DD. They aren't quite running into Roche yet. DSM going up to kind of take out this last, or one of the tier 2s they have to left. And they're going to be able to melt this tier 2 pretty quickly, especially because they have Dead Penguin, who hits for an extra 107 because of his Atrophy Aura. So, definitely trading tier 2 for tier 3 is not worth it, but I don't think Bartimus needs to worry, especially because, I mean, Kuka does have a TP, he does have Yules, but honestly, I think he just TP's out. He doesn't need to worry about it. And DSM does manage to grab the tier 2 top. DSM does ping out Roche, which, like I said, this is the best time to take it. I might want to see mid being pushed out a little bit more, which Bartimus is going to go do. So good there. You don't want the other team to have easy access to run to you. Of course, they still do have shrines, so it's a little harder for DSM to kind of guarantee that they're alone in Roche Pit, especially because you have to worry about Chronosphere, and with that, Faceless Void is near. They are opting actually to go for this shrine first. I think that's a good decision. I don't think you try to take Roche without taking the shrine, but in my opinion, you take the shrine, you back up, and take Roche. So that's probably the best decision. If they do that, I think that's the So they aren't actually going to do that. They need to worry kind of a little bit about Apocalypse pushing in bottom, but they do. Ember does just jump back, and he is going to clear out this wave. I still think it's in their best interest to take Roche right now, but they definitely can't do it without Dark. So, just gonna wait and see. We do have the plate mail being finished up on Axius. He's probably going to be going for a Assault Cuirass as well, which he is. So there's going to be Assault Cuirass on Dark and an Assault Cuirass. Well, Assault Cuirass finished up on Dark and an Assault Cuirass going to be on Axius pretty soon. I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name right. I've been saying it like that all games. Yeah, it is Axius. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting there. Ping out on Roche, this is probably the best decision. All the lanes are pushed out, the ones that matter for you. Plus, you got the shrines. So if you just run in, quick take Roche, give it to Dark, who drops his Echo Saber. Maybe I don't actually know what you drop for this. If you even take it at all, you could wait and give it to Bartimus, but I do think they're actually going to give it to Underlord. If it's from what it looks like. There is cheese on this one as well, so maybe you have Sven pick up the cheese. Actually, you have Ember come in, who grabs cheese, and he grabs Bartimus grabs Aegis. Cheese goes on to the Sven on Dark, so you push high ground now. This is your chance. You can get this last Rax mid. You can now you can go top, and if you get a good enough team wipe, you can honestly just finish it. Or you can try to finish it. I don't actually know if you can finish it, but you can definitely. Oh, okay. So Axius is gonna go down. He's not worried about Chronosphere anymore. We are maybe gonna see Sven go down. He does pop his BKB, which is gonna help out. But if you can manage to get a couple more of these kills, just. If you grab out the Nox, let's see. I don't think you grab out Nox. I think you actually die. He does switch his cheese. He does eat cheese. Are they going to kill Dead Penguin? No, he is going to get grabbed. Dead Penguin, Dean Portman, not Dead Penguin. Dean Portman does go down. We do have a buyback on Dean Portman. We do see Underlord going down. I think, so that was, I mean, they do manage while this all is happening to get top barracks and middle. They get top tower and middle racks. So it does look like Dark is going to maybe go down for this. He is very tanky. He does go down, but you get top racks. So you get top melee racks. You're going for top range racks. Good decision there. He manages to get one of the racks. He does get out. Bartimus does get out, but it does look like Rain does go down as well. That does force, it did force a buyback. I think it forced two buybacks, honestly. Dragon Knight bought, so Fulton bought back, and so did, no, Dead Penguin bought back, excuse me. Dean Portman bought back, and so did Dead Penguin. I don't think that, you buy back? Should probably have the buyback status on. Yeah, so Dean Portman didn't, or Fulton didn't buy back because he didn't have the money for it, but it does look like Nox, Dean Portman, and Dead Penguin bought back. So, also there was a Scythe of Ice being picked up here on Dead Penguin. Good item is gonna be able to basically just hex any one hero quickly. TB boots being bought on Dark. So good item there. You're gonna let him jump around as much as he wants. Daedalus finished up on Bartimus. He probably had that a while ago. Does look like Apocalypse also has his Bloodthorn. I'm assuming Axius is gonna get a. He's gonna be getting his Assault Cuirass first. I might have liked seeing the Maelstrom first, but I do like Assault Cuirass because it helps stop the Sven from being as annoying. US of A does manage to grab another Rax or another Shrine, which is really good. Almost 20k net worth now in favor of DSM, and almost 20k goal net worth as well. It does actually look like Axius is going to melt, and so is Nox. That's a dieback right there. if they manage to get Dragon Knight, or if they can get Fulton here, which is the last one, it's going to be a team wipe. If they can manage to team wipe this team, they can just go straight up mid and finish the game. Which it does look like they are going to manage to team wipe. That's 3. So there aren't, that right there is a team wipe. It does actually look like they're opting to just run in and go mid. So if they can just go mid and end the game, I think that's exactly how they do this. Buybacks right now is the problem, though. So who has buyback? It doesn't actually look like... So we do force the buyback out on Axius and on Fulton. They had to do that. They also force it on Apocalypse. That's their 3 cores. Now, the only problem here is I still think you can go for this this game ender. But if you can manage to kill any one of these cores, then that'll be game. Like, there's no chance they can fight it, especially because the tier 4 is going down. You can't get in here at Sven. You can't get in here on Bartimus. I think that's GG. Looks like there is going to be a chrono. He is going to try to grab at it, but there is going to be an ult jumping in here, and it does look like that is game. That's definitely game. Axius just died back, and it does actually look like Fulton is going to die back as well, and GG is called. Great game by both teams. I really liked the team comp that both kind of teams had. Really good job to all the players. That's game 1. There is going to be a game 2 here coming up in a couple minutes. Also, I think I have a co-caster, so you don't have to just listen to me spout off for an hour. So good job there. Really good game.